Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this Olight Oclip Pro clip-on flashlight. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description, and if you use that link, it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So let's get this open. So here we have the light. There's a README on the bottom. It says it ships in lockout mode. To unlock it, press and hold the button for about 2 seconds until the light turns on. Fully charged before first use. Then it has a charge indicator. Here we have the user manual and the charge cable. So this is a USB-C to USB-A cable. Let's get the light out. So here's the light. It has a clip. Now there's a magnet in here so that can magnet to things. So it's kind of a rubberized grip there. We have a glass lens. This opens up for the charge port, and it's a nice metal flap here. And this is waterproof rated even with the flap open. So I'll hold down on this to turn it on. So the light came on. I'll press again to turn it off. So let's get this charging. I'll plug in here, and you can charge this up with a phone charger. So I have a kind of a fancy one here. It shows the charge rate, and it's charging at about 0.5 amp. So that can vary depending on the state of charge of the light. And there is a red light here flashing. That's a charge indicator. It's kind of hard to see with my light on. But let's take a look at the manual real quick. So this shows all of the modes. Up here it shows the color temperatures for the lights. It has a CRI of 70. So here we have the run times for the lights. Now on the lowest mode, on Moonlight, for 1 lumen, it's going to run for 6 days. So it has very long run time on that low mode. And then if you get to turbo, it has a tiered system. Turbo and high both have tiered systems. So it's going to run at 500 lumens for 1 minute. Then it's going to drop down to, I think, 60% for 50 minutes and 20% for 30 minutes. So that's kind of a tiered system. So you have the floodlight, and we have the spotlight, and that has that similar tiering system. And it has the Moonlight mode also, and then it has the red light. So you have flood, spot, and red light. Now the red light has 2 modes. It has the low mode for 4 lumens at 29 hours and 40 lumens for 4 hours. So this has a low red light and a high red light. A lot of lights will have, say, just a low red light, but this has both. And here we have that IPX6 waterproof rating. This has a 580 milliamp hour lithium battery. Charges with USB-C. Charging time is about 1.5 hours. This shows the different parts. Talks about charging it. Here's the selector. So we have floodlight, spotlight, and then red light. And I'll show that on the light itself. So you press it to turn it on and off. Now if it's off, you can hold the button down for 1 to 2 seconds. It will turn on the Moonlight mode. If you double tap it, it will turn on turbo mode. If you triple tap, you'll get strobe mode. Now when it's on, if you hold it down, it will go between low, medium, and high modes. Now if it's already on and you triple tap it, so this triple tap is when it's off and you triple tap, it goes to strobe. If it's on and you triple tap, it will go to beacon mode, and that will just do like a flash, flash, like that. Then this is the red light. Press to turn on, double tap for high output, and if you hold it down, it will go from red light to red blink. So it has a number of different modes on it. So this probably still needs to charge a little bit more, but I'll demonstrate the modes on my desk and then I'll show it with the lights off. So if we go to the front, we're going to have floodlight. So I'll press the button and we have the floodlight on. So I will turn off my light here. So here you can see that. I'll double tap. So that's the turbo mode. So that's the flood. If I go to the middle selector, so I'm rotating this here, that's the spot. So we have flood, spot, and then we have red. Now if I hold down on this, we're going to have the flash mode. If we double tap, we're going to have the high red mode. On the spot and the floodlight have a lot of the same kinds of modes. So I'll turn that on. Well, let me just hold it down. So here we have the moon mode. So that's the 1 lumen. I'll just press it. And now if I hold it down, we'll cycle between the different modes. So you can kind of see that changing here. Then if we do the double click, we'll have the really high mode. If we triple click, we're going to have strobe light. So we'll have flashing lights in this video. Or that was actually the beacon right there. So that's going to flash like that. Let me turn it off and then triple click. That's going to be that flicker light. And of course, if we go to spotlight, we're going to have the same kind of thing. We'll hold it down. We're going to have the different modes. So if you're camping, you might want to have that on the red mode. So if you get up in the middle of the night, you can turn this on and have your red light to see. You could also turn it on the regular mode and then hold the button down and have the moon mode if you don't want to blow out your night vision. Now if you're walking on a trail, you might want regular floodlight or you might want the spotlight depending on what you're doing. So I'm going to get this charged up, then I'll do a further demonstration. Okay, so I have this charged up and I have the camera 4 foot from the wall and the light's about 4 foot from the wall, and I have a little bit of ambient light coming in from the side, but I want to do kind of a close-up demo of this. So I'm going to turn this on. So this went on to the last mode it was on. So I'll hold it down. Let's do that again. So this is the low mode here. You can see that. This is the flood. And I'll hold it down. So this is medium. And this is high. So you can kind of see it's a very even light, and it just kind of fades out to dark on the edges. It doesn't have a real distinct line. And I'll turn it to the spotlight, and I'll hold this down. So this is the low spotlight. So here you can see the bright spot in the middle, and then it kind of fades to a dimmer light, and then it fades to black on the edges. So the spot's kind of in the middle of a floodlight. So if you're walking down a trail, you could point the bright spot at the trail itself, and you'll still see on the periphery of the trail. So hold that down. This is medium mode. And there's high mode. Now I can double tap that, and there you have the turbo mode. So that's going to be the brightest. Now let's turn to the red. Now you can see that, but that's the red low. Now if I double tap, we're going to go to red high. So that's an even red light. So next I'm going to take this outside and I'll do a longer range test. Okay, so I'm at the end of my 50-foot driveway, and I have it on flood, and I'll turn it on. So this is the low mode, and I don't know if that's showing up much on the camera. Here's medium, so you can see that. And there's high. So this is really lighting up a nice portion of the driveway here. And you can see the door is about 50 foot away. Now I'll double click it, and here we have turbo mode. So there's turbo, that's very bright. But I would say that for kind of longer range, the medium to high is probably your best mode there. Now switch that over to the spotlight, and here we have low on the spotlight. I don't know how much is that. You can kind of see that there. So if I was walking down a trail at night in the woods, I'd probably have it on low mode unless I was really looking for something specific. Like there's a possum right there. I didn't know that was going to be there. So there's medium mode, there's high, and there's turbo. So that's going to be the brightest mode. So now let's switch to the red light. So this is going to be on red low. I can't imagine this is going to show up much on camera. So let's just go straight to the brighter. So this is the brighter red light. And again, I'm showing this at 50 foot away. This is showing up very well right in front of me. So here I have this pointing down at my car tire. I'll turn it on the floodlight. So here's low, medium, high. You can see that lights that up well. And let's go to the red. You can kind of see it with the red. And this is the brighter red. Now if you're changing a tire, you'd probably want to use a white light. But this has quite a bit of red light here, so this is really nice. And there's the spotlight. For doing something like this, I think floodlight's probably best. So I'm back inside, and here I have the Olight Oclip Pro on my backpack. So I have these straps here. You can put that on there. And you can see the kind of the gap here between the two sides. And it closes completely. So this will kind of slide up and down. You could actually kind of bring it back and clamp it right on here. But when that's on there, that's a very secure connection. Now I could pull that off of there, but it's not just going to fall off on its own easily. You really have to force it off of there to get it off. So it's a nice secure connection. So that's the Olight Oclip Pro clip flashlight. I really like the compact size of this. I like all of the features. This would be great for repair work or camping. I like a bright flashlight, but I also like a flashlight that can be dim. And this has the moonlight mode or the red mode. So if I get up in the middle of the night in my tent and I need a little bit of light, I don't have to blind myself. I like how nice this is to hold. I can just hold it kind of like this and shine it at things. Of course, it has that magnet so you can mount it. You can put a lanyard through the hole there. And the build quality on this is really nice. So I think a light like this would be great for a gift too. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.